left out the Detroit game though.
No.
Thank God. And there's a form that looks like it's graduate. Or grant.
Not that.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We get to do that. Meeting assignments,
Yeah.
discussion. Where's, oh, this one.
Alright.
Oh, I
59.
Nobody lives on it.
It's not 9 o'clock. Good morning, and welcome to the Todd County Board of Commissioners Regular Board Meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 17th. The time is 9 a.m. All commissioners are present along with our auditor, treasurer, and our coordinator. We'll now stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, we need to amend 4.6 from the potential consent items and move that to 10.2.
Okay. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? If not, I ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Byers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. And we'll go into consent items.
Consent items today then would be the meeting minute approval for November 19th and December 3rd, 2024. A 3.2 malt liquor license for Don and Dave's Store. Gambling permit for the Eagle Bend Area Community Development Corporation Auxiliary. Approve the 2025 tobacco licenses. Resignation of Tim Ebnett, Resource Conservationist of 1/3/2025. Hire Samuel Wicken, Part-Time Correctional Officer, start date to be determined. Hire Public Health Nurse Angela Schleckler, start date to be determined. Hire Care Coordinator Aaron Schultz, start date to be determined. Hire Tim Sweezy, Part-Time Road Deputy, start date to be determined.
Okay, you've heard the consent items. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
First item I have then under the Auditor Treasurers is to approve the Commissioner warrants. Background was sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling an amount of $136,007.08.
Okay, I ask for a motion for the commissioner warrants for $136,007.08.
Madam Chair, make that motion.
Okay, motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call?
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next item I have a Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $112,397.75.
Okay, I'd ask for a motion for the Health and Human Services Commissioner warrants in the amount of $112,397.75.
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call?
Commissioner Nazca, or excuse me, Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next item is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $71,810.62.
I'd ask for a motion for the Health and Human Services SSIS warrants in the amount of $71,810.62.
Madam Chair, I make that motion.
Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The last item I have then is the 2025 Public Defender Contract. Background is Todd County is responsible for the provision of public defender services in certain type of cases. Peters Law Office has proposed a contract renewal for 2025. Peters Law Office has provided the county board a summary letter for consideration. Your options are to approve the contract or do not approve, and it is the recommendation to approve the contract with Peters Law Office for public defender service for 2025, and it is a budgeted item.
Is there a motion to approve the contract with Peters Law Office for Public Defender Service for Todd County for 2025?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. We'll have Lauren. Good morning,
Lauren,
Lauren.
Lauren.
Good morning.
So our first item on the agenda this morning for Public Works is a request for a 2024 budget rollover, and it's specifically for the maintenance parts and building line item. And the background is, earlier this year, the board approved a contract to re-roof the salt shed at the northern shop. When we set the contract up, the salesman said that they could do the work with salt in the building, and when the foreman showed up, he said, "Oh, no, we can't do the work, it's gotta be empty." So therefore, with the contract, we paid for the materials are in our possession to re-roof that, it's in our cold storage facility up there, but we're just waiting to get the salt out of the building later this spring, and then we can do the labor portion of the contract. But since the budget was set for this year, we're asking to roll that money over to next year, or when we can make that labor payment to the contractor. So our options are to approve or not approve the attached budget request form, and our recommendation to approve the budget request form rolling $29,846 over from fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2025.
Okay, and the motion would be for the 2024 budget rollover request for the maintenance parts and building for the salt shed, the amount of $29,846.
Madam Chair, Mayor.
Yes.
Obviously, you said the materials are purchased. Are they honoring their labor? I mean, you're gonna have higher labor charge, you think, or is it
No, it's in a contract, so they're willing to,
set?
same, it's all in the contract. They said, yeah, no problem, we'll just wait till next spring. So
Thanks,
it's
Lauren.
all set. Yep, good question, thank you.
I'm still looking for a motion.
Madam Chair, so yes, I will make that motion.
Okay, motion by Byers in favor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
All right, thank you. Our second item is a similar budget rollover request, and the background is with this is that earlier this year, the board approved the purchase of a new plow truck. And when we purchased a new plow truck, we actually work with two separate vendors. Number one, the truck and chassis vendor, which would be Boyer Motors for a Western Star truck. That actually has been delivered. It's been delivered to our outfitter by the name of Towmaster, the company out of Litchfield. It's sitting there in their lot, but it's the plow equipment, box, blades has yet to be installed, and that'll be installed later this next year. So we're asking to roll over that portion of that truck purchase to next year to cover those expenses. And that value would be around $165,420. Therefore, our two options are to approve the attached budget request form or not approve that request. And we're recommending to approve that attached form, recommending the rollover $165,420 from fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2025.
Okay. I'd ask for a motion for the 2024 budget rollover request for $165,420 in capital expenditures, basically for a plow truck.
I'll make the motion to roll over.
Motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. Okay, and the next one is one that I had put on, and I had called Lauren before I put it on, and I just wanted, after our work session at the shop, that we had quite a bit of discussion about tarring different roads within the county. My Pacific area was 81. We had quite a few comments when I was out campaigning about County Road 21 also, in the northern part that was getting really worn. And so I guess I like to keep it of awareness, and I know Randy has a road down in your area.
Yep, County Road 95.
And as we see the bids come in for tarring this year, if it's possible, whatever, I would like to keep that on the docket, that if we could possibly get these roads tarred, hopefully within the upcoming future. And I guess that's my presentation.
And Madam Chair, that would be just the county roads that are gravel right now that have not been.
Yeah, I know County Road 81, for the past 10 years, we've had people from that road specifically come and request that road be tarred. And it is a huge cut-across road in that area, and I think Public Works could even use it as a cut-across road. It would save the county actually mileage by taking that road to our northern shop. So,
Well, Madam Chair, I was gonna-
yes,
one of the things that I spent some time at AMC last week was talking to some of the road vendors that are there exhibiting and whatnot. And I did gather a bunch of information. I'm sure, Lauren, they're calling you. That's their job as sales, to get you to buy their stuff for them. But there was some innovative stuff with resurfacing, and and I'm not an expert on it, so I could certainly, and this is not related to that. It's just a general subject to talk about. But anything we can do to help, either move these roads forward and help reduce costs, whatever. I got all the literature. I can either drop it off, or if you
Sure, that'd be great.
want it, great. If you don't, I'm sure you have a good grasp of everything that's going on. But
We get,
it was interesting because I haven't spent a lot of time,
we get all that stuff all the time, so.
Yeah, I figured that.
so, and I guess that's I wanted to bring it in front of the board to make sure that as we see the contracts come in and what it's gonna cost us for tarring and so forth, to keep these roads in mind.
So are you asking me to put those projects in the contract?
It would be nice if we could, depending upon what the contract is. And actually, if we put them in the contract, we could always take it out if they got too high. I mean, if the tar got
What do you say,
really
when you
hard.
said contract?
Well, when he goes out for bid.
So our contract is set up already that we're gonna go
Right.
out for bid, so we'd have to know sooner than later. But neither one of those projects are listed in our 5-year plan.
We know that, Lauren. These people have
So-
been,
How would you like me to proceed?
I personally would like to proceed in trying to get some of this tarred. I mean, it's been a long time coming.
May I?
Yeah.
What if, you came up with a system to score these roads, if I remember right?
Correct.
Correct. So, obviously, every one of the 5 commissioners probably has some resident that's saying, or some stretch of
Absolutely.
road that is very important to them. So, whether it be under the work session, we look at the top 5 roads, whatever your system is, and then get input from each commissioner, say, hey, there's a reason why this road in my district is more important. I think what Mark's trying to do is just, I think probably on a more frequent basis, have this discussion and figure out budget-wise, is that in 2026, 27, can you add it to your budget? I don't think it's like next year you gotta do this road. But I think having,
But is that what I'm hearing, next year, or?
Well, I would like to see it done within the next 2 years or whatever. But I think if they at least could see that they're put on the plan to be tarred. And, I mean, we're not talking large mileage of roads. The 81 is what, 2.5 miles?
Close to three and a half.
Okay, yeah,
But it's a substantial amount of money.
absolutely. But you've gravelled it, I think, 3 times. And that road got some, lot of clay put on the last time they gravelled it. And the people have a lot of problems within that road, you know, because of the material that's on top of it.
Right, and Madam Chair, we listen to our constituents as far as, you know, dust control. We've been trying to chloride most of the county roads, keep the dust down. But then you look at the downside of chloride, it eats the crap out of your vehicles.
Yeah.
And it'll rust the snot out of them, so.
And to answer your question, Lauren, yes, if I could put County Road 81 to be tarred next year, I would do it in a heartbeat.
If the board chooses that, we will do it, but we just need the direction to do that. But as of right now, if that happened, we don't have the funding source to accomplish that, but would have to be defined.
And there's 5 obviously board members here.
Absolutely.
So obviously, you know, 81, 97, 5, 4, 3, 2, whatever it is, you know.
Do you feel that the direction I've shown as far as a quick study, as far as the ranking system, is that a direction you'd like to go down?
Well, Lauren, I think during our work session, you can change that number any way you want to, you know, and we sat and visited about that.
I don't,
No, I mean, but it could be, you know, by, you know, however we directed that put points, you know, on the board. I mean, you could put any road on top.
what I was getting at with that system is I don't want to have that control.
Yeah.
I want the control of those numbers to be based on data and the board. And then when you make that recommendation, our job is to implement that project. We don't want to have that control. I don't think that's the position of Public Works.
Correct.
I think that's the commissioner's position to make those decisions.
And I want it as objective as possible. I wanted all the subjectivity taken out of it. Now, there's subjectivity within the 5 board members. If we have to wrestle about what's more important, that's what happens, you know, and that's why we have a vote. But I think, I mean, I personally think the point system you put together is very objective. So, I mean, from my standpoint, I would live with it. There might be some wrestling and some, you know, trading here and there, figuring out between the 5 of us, but I think the system takes you out of the picture, like, I'm not making, you know, you're just gonna take direction from us once we.
We would like to provide the data and the recommendation, and then you as the board give us the direction, and then our job is to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the board's permission, could we revisit this at the next road meeting this spring? And
That would be
kinda
absolutely fine, Lauren.
to dedicate more time of the road meeting to this specific topic, and instead of making a more immediate decision, let's just say for paving the roads this next year, so we would have time to put together a long-term plan as far as how would it impact our 5-year plan, how would it impact our future budgets, and then maybe even look at talking about, you mentioned that potentially there's a potential to use some of the debt payments in the future. That was discussed.
And that was discussed also at that meeting. Yes, it was, you know.
If this is truly an important objective of the county, we should look at all those funding sources to come up with a plan to accomplish whatever you as the board would like to pay which roads we see as the county would see fit. Does that seem like a good method?
I'm absolutely fine with it. I
And
just
think
don't
some,
want it to
I
be
think some
forgotten.
homework, like some, you know, I say behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but just like some, and then maybe some potential meetings with current or next year's leadership on the board to say they want, you know, and by the time spring meeting comes around,
Yeah.
we've got a really better direction for you.
Lauren, strategically, just thinking about it from a township perspective, when we, from the townships, want to tar a road and we reach out to your office and we say, are you doing tarring? And is there a setup already happening around
That
this
area.
part of the county? It saves the township a lot of money if you guys are already out there and you've got your whole setup. I wonder if you're in the vicinity doing work of some of these roads, if the bidding process could just add on one of those roads to just get a pricing for the commissioners to say, 81, we're in that area already doing tarring or doing retarring over here, how much would it cost to add that 81 on? And then that could be, you know, shown to save, what I'm saying is you're already doing work in the vicinity of certain roads. Maybe that would save money.
We have a pretty good handle on,
I-
once we know the unit prices for the year,
Okay.
we have a pretty good handle on what we think that number would be.
Oh, see, yeah, you probably know. Okay, I just know we appreciate it at the township level when we can work with the county where you're already out there.
Yeah.
And you're in the area, it saves the
And they get
township
the benefit
money
of buying in bulk, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yep.
and setup costs, or, yeah.
I would want you to take, I just want your, one of your takeaways to be that I completely think what you're doing is very good. I mean, 5, 10, 20-year plans. I know you're looking at economies of scale and bulk buying and all those things. It's just, can we potentially get a road or two on there the next 3, 4, 5 years, whatever? So thank you, I appreciate it. Great.
And
You do a
I
great
think,
job.
doing on the spring meeting will be fine, but it's just, you know,
So the takeaway I get is that at the spring road meeting,
we will.
we'll have some minor updates to our department, but the vast share of the meeting will be dedicated to this discussion. Is that reasonable?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever vast is, yeah, sure.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Anything else?
Thank you, Lord.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Lauren.
Okay, next, I think, is Nancy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have one agenda item. And it is the Maintenance Project County Ditch 41. Background, I've sent the quote details from Todd, Carey Lakes Area Blasting. Options is approve the county ditch inspector signing contract with contractor, or do not approve county ditch inspector signing contract with contractor. And Madam Chair, I would like to go over the overview before doing the recommendation, if that works. Okay. So kind of the background on this, we had our Ditch 41 informal meeting a couple weeks ago, and I had given the estimate that the contractor from Grand Rapids had for the amphibian excavator. And since that meeting, I was approached by Todd Carey. He's the contractor that does the dam removal for the county with explosives. And he said he has decided to purchase an amphibian excavator. And he's working with a lender right now for his financing for it. And his lender would like him to have concrete contracts that he's going to be doing to help out with their decision on lending, which basically they want a contract showing that he's gonna have projects to use this machine for. He actually lives in the vicinity of Ditch 41, so he would not charge for mobilization. He would charge $3,000 a day for the main ditch, which is the spot cleaning, $4,000 a day for the laterals, because there's more extensive excavation with the laterals. And the other contract from Grand Rapids would have charged $20,600 for mobilization and $15,000 per day for cleaning the main ditch and the laterals. And because of lower excavation costs, we can likely get a majority of the laterals cleaned along with the main ditch that we were gonna do. I've been talking with Cale Van Bruggen from Ricky Noonan just to verify with him we can only spend $175,000 per year on a repair, just to get confirmation from him what that actually means with this project. There won't be any assessments for this project because there's enough money in the maintenance fund to pay for the project. And my goal is to do the project without going over that amount. That would then incur assessments to the landowners. If it's starting to go over that amount, then we're just gonna quit on what we're doing. So the Todd County Ditch Year runs from July 1st to June 30th each year. The wording in ditch law that says you can't spend more than $175,000 on a repair is per calendar year, not per ditch year. So I confirmed with Cale that the $175,000 is per repair, not per the whole project. So if we break this repair up into board actions approving less than $175,000 per repair, then it doesn't matter if it's cost more than the $175,000, but we can't assess $175,000 per year. So the way the ditch year works, any bills that are accrued before June 30th are assessed in the following assessment year, and any bills occurred after July 1st are not assessed until the year after that. So if any bills from July 1st of 2024 actually would not get assessed till tax payable year 2026.
Yeah.
So that splits those numbers up. So I talked with him about that. So I don't think we're gonna have any problems since there's not gonna be an assessment, and we can keep those, each repair project under that 175,000. I kept changing the length of laterals on Todd because I hadn't gotten confirmation from all landowners on what laterals were to be done. So he didn't get me the actual quote until after the board deadline. So I do have a quote from him here, but I thought there was an overhead projector here. There's not, but I totally outlined the quote in this overview here. So his machine is 12 feet wide, top speed of 1.2 miles per hour. Again, there's gonna be no mileage or mobilization. So the main ditch, 6.53 miles long at the 3,000 per day. He's estimating 7 days, so that'll be $21,000 for the main ditch. He basically had the same wording as we did for the contractor in Grand Rapids about what was gonna be done, and you can see that there. The laterals and branches, 9.17 miles right now is what I've got confirmation that landowners want done. The laterals, the as-built is 12.75 miles, so there's a few more laterals I'm still waiting to hear from landowners on their opinions or if they're feasible to clean those. So there may be more laterals added after, and I would do that as another board action with a different dollar amount with another quote as laterals are added on. So that would be $4,000 per day. He's estimating 37 days, so that would be $148,000. And again, that's the same wording as I had for the Grand Rapids contractor. The spoil will be leveled as the backhoe goes because there's no way we're gonna get a dozer in there to level spoils. So they're just gonna be leveled as they go along. There is lateral, the part of lateral 6 that is west of County Road 7 is too dry for an amphibian excavator. The excavator has to actually keep the tracks wet, and that's a dry section of ditch, so that section of ditch will be done with a different contractor. More of our typical projects that we've done with leveling the spoils with a dozer and stuff, because it is dry enough to do that. So his total then is $169,000 for that 6.53 miles of main ditch and 9.17 miles of the laterals. And then if more laterals are added, they would be done with the 4,000 per day rate. And I would have another quote from him then for those dollars, for that added amount of project that would be done.
Okay. Nancy, majority of this money is coming from the Lake Chaminade.
There was
From the Morrison
$200,000
County.
from Morrison, and there was $90,000 from Lake Chaminade.
Okay,
So, and as of right now, we had $12,000 for the 2024 assessment year because there was tons of, we did a bunch of beaver dam removal, a bunch of trapping in anticipation of doing this project. And then there was the meeting that we had, that all got paid on that. And so now it's down, it's about a 276,000, I think is what the total is now. But there's still continued beaver trapping and
Okay.
stuff like that.
and the other comment is Todd Carey lives within that area also.
Yes,
So
he-
he does know the area that
Yes.
we're working with.
Yep, he does.
Okay. I guess,
And then and he also has his own Argo. The other company was gonna charge us for a machine to get back and forth. He has an Argo that he will use that for.
okay. Any questions to Nancy?
So did you want me to do the recommendation then?
Yes, please.
Okay. So any questions about that whole, okay, sorry, I talk fast. All right. Recommendation, the Todd County Board of Commissioners approves the following by motion. Acting as the Todd County Ditch Authority, approves the county ditch inspector signing a contract with Todd Carey, Lakes Area Blasting, for services detailed in his quote for maintenance of County Ditch 41. Financial implication is $169,000. Funding source, CD 41 Maintenance Fund. And comments, there will not be an assessment to the CD 41 assessment roll because there is enough money in the maintenance fund to cover the expenses.
Okay, I would ask for a motion for the maintenance project on County Ditch 41 with Doug Carey, Lakes Area,
Excuse me, Todd Carey.
or Todd Carey,
There's too many carries.
yes. Too many carries, yep, in the amount of $169,000.
Madam Chair, make that motion to approve the.
Motion by Byers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Good project to get done. Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. Thank you, Nancy.
Nancy, great job.
Thank you. Thanks, Nancy.
Good morning.
All right, I got a couple board actions for you this morning. The first one is our Office 365 project. Currently, we are using a wide variety of Office versions throughout the county, which consists of Outlook, Word, Excel, etc. There are compatibility issues between versions and getting harder to maintain and keep up to date. We are having issues with our non-licensed version of Microsoft Teams working with other county and state agencies. Our SharePoint is also very old and needs to be updated. In moving to Office 365, we can eliminate the version issues between agencies, get our SharePoint up to date, and all will be at the same version of the Office package. With Office 365, the updates are automatic, so we know we are always running the most current version and we are meeting security and compliance guidelines. Moving to Office 365 will now be an annual expense that will need to be budgeted. The remaining ARPA funds will fund this project for the first year. Attached are the two quotes, attached are two quotes. One from SHI in the amount of $84,168.90, which is from the state contract. The other is for vendor assistance for this migration. Your options are to approve the use of ARPA funds to fund this project or not to approve. The recommendation is to approve the Office 365 project and to obligate ARPA funds to support the Office 365 project for the total amount of $87,668.90.
Okay, I ask for a motion to approve the Office 365 project with ARPA funds to support it of $87,668.90.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Danny. Discussion.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
I'm pretty familiar with what you're doing here. It works great. It's gonna be so much better than what we have right now, and I can't wait. It's gonna be really nice. I mean, using Microsoft's apps, even with our iPhones or tablets or things like that, rather than the native Apple apps, it's a whole different world. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited for this to happen.
Okay. Any further discussion? I've got a question. You said the first year, what's the charges for your continuing on, I guess?
It'll probably be right around that 84,000, depending
Okay.
on how many people we have licensed.
Okay, and that you'll just budget year to year then?
Correct, correct. And I will give corrections their portion and HHS their portion to budget for them.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, with no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and carries.
Thank you. The next one I have is our Asurion upgrade. Our current Asurion servers are 7 years old and end of life in January of 2025. These servers are used for our archival solution for archiving documents across the county. All of our HHS information, recording documents, commissioner meeting information, et cetera, are all stored in this solution. In addition to the dual servers, a NAS, a network attached storage device, has been added to have an additional location for all of our system backups. This NAS also makes them immutable, which means they are unable to be altered or deleted in case of a cyber attack. Attached are the quotes that I received. Your options are to approve the Asurion upgrade from Information Systems for $208,837 or not to approve. The recommendation is to approve the Asurion upgrade from Information Systems for $208,837 and to obligate ARPA funds of $135,579.89, plus any returned ARPA funding from open projects in 2025 or 2026, currently obligated prior to 12/31/04. I didn't put this on there, but I'm going to add it. I know that those numbers don't add up, but I did talk to Kim from Recorders and Compliance, and Recorder Tech Fund can fund the rest of that project from whatever ARPA funds don't come back.
Okay. I'd ask for a motion for the Asurion upgrade project using the remaining ARPA funds as part of the payment. And the project is $208,837.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion.
Yes, Madam Chair, may I ask a general question? How often has it, December 17th or 18th of this year, do we have requests like this of this substantial amount?
I think.
If I may, as the Finance Committee, we've discussed this all along.
Yeah.
Lisa was put in a position that this stuff wasn't budgeted for in prior years, and so she was dealt this hand. And we struggled this year with her to find her a way to get this done, because there are many of these programs that the state will be changing over, that us in election world, my programs will not run without, as of December 31st, I won't be able to access a lot of programs within my office, and mine is just one of many. And so we visited with Lisa many times throughout this year through the Finance Committee, and this was a way that we found that we could help her alleviate her budget. Moving forward, she will know to be proactive in budget for this. Like I said, this was dealt to her. She had no idea this was going to be laid on the table for her. So we're kind of doing an after-the-fact catch-up for her in this division, which affects the entire county.
Yeah, and she'll be putting money away the same as facilities and so forth going forward.
Correct. So when it comes up again in 7 years, the funding will be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I appreciate the response, and I understand the response. And I understand why the money has to be brought from there. We have had discussions about ARPA money previous months that apparently I didn't understand what was in that account to be.
Yeah, we had about 200 and some thousand left at the last finance, and then when we visited with Lisa since August, whenever this was brought about to her attention that things were shifting. And we learned about it also in election world, because we were not able to get on some Teams meetings and such. And when contacting the state, they were like, well, you need to update all this stuff at your county level. And so moving forward, that's when we found out about all these issues. And so that was the best synopsis with the rest of the residual of the ARPA money, was to help out both of these requests.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Thank you, Lisa.
I just want to thank you guys too, because these are two very big projects, and I really, really appreciate that funding being obligated to these to get done. So, thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, next, planning and zoning. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning. First here, we have the Henricks Acres preliminary plat and application for a subdivision to create six 2-acre lots on parcel 15-00-45001. Candona Township was submitted on October 14th. It was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the November 7th and December 5th public hearings. Final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to approve the preliminary plat with the conditions listed below. Options are to approve the preliminary plat with the conditions, develop findings to deny the preliminary plat, or remand it back to the Planning Commission. Recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and approve the preliminary plat with the conditions below. All new driveway accesses shall be approved by the local road authority prior to installation. 2, there should be no dwelling sites allowed within the development area. Development shall be limited to accessory structures. And 3, to abide by all other applicable federal, state, and local standards. This was remanded back to the Planning Commission after the previous meeting to seek some comments from whoever had jurisdiction over that hunting area, that waterfowl production area just to the south. So I did figure out that it was the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service out of Litchfield that monitored that, and I did get a comment back from Todd Boonstra, I believe is how you pronounce his name. They said they really don't have anything to say about local decision-making when it comes to development around their public lands. He acknowledged that they had concerns with these developments when it comes to impacts on wetlands and drainage and such like that. So the Planning Commission did take his note here, review those, and ultimately believe that everything was being addressed. There can't be wetland impacts. It's not directly connected, and there's not a lot of drainage that goes in that direction. So the Planning Commission turned around and made the recommendation that I had just noted there.
Okay, and is there a motion for the Hendricks Acres preliminary plot?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion,
Okay.
but I also want to make sure the correction is made. It's Leslie Township, not Candota.
Sure, I can fix that.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Danny. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Okay, next is Oak Tree Acres preliminary plat. An application for a subdivision to create a single lot plat on parcel 06000510 in Burnhamville Township was submitted on October 4th. The application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the December 5th public hearing. Final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to approve the preliminary plat with conditions below. Options are to approve the preliminary plat with the conditions, develop findings, to deny or remand it back to the Planning Commission. Recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and approve the preliminary plat with the conditions below. One, that all new driveway accesses shall be approved by the local road authority prior to installation, and two, to abide by all other applicable federal, state, and local standards.
Okay, I would ask for a motion for the Oak Tree Acres preliminary plot.
So moved.
Motion by Danny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca.
Yes, yes.
Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Okay, next, amendment to section 505 of the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance. On July 16th, 2024, direction was given to review section 505 of the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance for inclusion of additional requirements for applications for CUPs. Planning Commission reviewed this section during the September and October public hearings, and the final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to not make any changes to section 505. This item was tabled from the October 15th meeting to request comments from AMC. No comments have been received up to this point from AMC. So the options are to make no changes to section 505 or propose language for an amendment to section 505. We could also remand it back to the Planning Commission for further consideration. The recommendation is to adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and make no changes to section 505 of the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance.
Okay, is there a motion for the amendment to section 5.05 of the Todd County Planning Ordinance?
I'll make the motion to make no changes to section 505.
To make no, okay. Denny made a motion for no change. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion. And this was to request that we have some of the state documentation before it's brought up to the commissioner table.
Right, yep, and part of the Planning Commission's decision, if I may,
Yes.
is that they didn't feel like we were gaining having this in the ordinance because we can create conditions that require those things and then withhold the recording of those documents and issuance of permits, so we can kind of still have that control over the application and making sure that those things are getting done in that CUP process.
Okay. Do we have enough timeline? Because some of them are, you have so many days to move it on and so forth.
Right, so from the time we get an application in, the county has 60 days to make that decision, or you can extend that by another 60 days for a total of 120. But as long as the county board makes that decision and grants, or makes a decision, whatever it is, and in the case of granting it, the conditions are what they are at that point, and the applicant then has 3 years to take action on that permit. And if they do none of those things, don't get their permits, whatever, the CUP would then lapse. So there's a time frame from that point for the landowner to take action on the approval of a CUP.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. So how is the applicant meeting with the townships? How has that been going?
It's actually been pretty good. It's new, so when people come in, we have to inform them, we can't accept it, say you gotta go visit with the township, or they come in hopefully early enough that we can kind of get them going, get them in contact with the township right away so they can get that meeting taken care of. That's been only a small hurdle, really. It's an extra step in the process, but it's gone all right. There is some confusion on the side of the townships, in particular those that maybe don't see a lot of the CUPs and variances and stuff, but like some of the area townships in your district, it's really been good, and I've got some good feedback. Otherwise, it's really just confusion. But we help townships navigate that, what they're doing. You know, they're not looking to grant or deny anything, just make you aware. So if you have comments, you can submit them to the county. Ultimately, it's been fairly positive, I'd say.
Yes.
I want to make sure I understand something here. Like, for example, Adam, we had a small discussion about the digester. So if he goes through with permitting but doesn't build for X amount of years, when does that cup expire?
I'd have to look at the exact language of the ordinance, but I think the language refers to being substantially completed is the term that's used in the ordinance, which you go down a little bit further, I believe it describes what substantially completed is. It doesn't necessarily mean that construction is physically started or that it's almost done. It's that you've obtained all the necessary permits to then do the construction is substantially completed. So I could send you that language if you'd want to read it firsthand, but it doesn't actually mean that things are done or nearly done physically. It means more that you've met all the conditions and got all the necessary permits you need in order to move forward with the project within that 3-year window.
All right, I think I'm right with that. Thank you.
So there is a 3-year window on that digester, is what you're telling us?
Right, from the time that the county board granted that, they would have to take that action to meet that substantially completed piece of the ordinance in order for it to not lapse.
Substantially completed is kind of, I guess, at our, I don't say at our discretion, but we determine that.
Yes, there is a little bit of a description of what it means in there. But yes, we make the determination of whether they met that, requirement within that window.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Right.
Opposed? And carries.
Okay, do you want me to kick this next part off?
Pardon?
You want me to kick this next part off here? It's the public hearing portion for the cannabis ordinance. We actually met all of our requirements for the public hearing, but in conversation, through Jackie with Commissioner Becker, we thought one last opportunity in front of the county board, if there is any public comments related to the adoption of this cannabis ordinance, we wanted to open that up now if there was any, but you wanna?
Yeah, Jackie, have you had any comments at all?
No,
Isn't that crazy?
no input at all on it, so.
I know Staples passed theirs. It was in the Staples paper that the city council had passed theirs. To be as restrictive as they can.
I know there's been some issues down at the state level, and I think it's backing up the rollout of everything because of some legal issues and then some of their deadlines, so their timelines. I've seen that, we've heard that, but we haven't received any formal information about that.
I was gonna talk about this at on our standing committee reports, because when I went to AMC, I went to the cannabis forum, and it was like, it just seems like the Wild West, like, do whatever you want. And there's like, people are trying to figure out, like, can we have mobile mobile marijuana truck? Can we have, is the stuff gotta be behind the case? Can you can you sample it, look at it, packaging, all this stuff, it's crazy. And so, I mean, honestly, I think if we just, what you've done, I believe, what they told us, minimalization or whatever, that's what we got. And it's gonna change, I think it's gonna change frequently in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I had asked Adam to bring this, because we do have until our meeting on the 30th to actually pass it, but we are still not having any input from anyone.
Yeah, when we first looked at that moratorium on the cannabis businesses, I think we had one comment that first meeting. And then since we started working on this, I think we've had 0 comments through 3 meetings. And it's posted every month.
Okay,
And
I
then
had,
Okay. Madam Chair, most people don't understand it. If they're not involved in it like we are and go to these meetings, they have no clue.
I haven't had a constituent come up and say yes or no.
No.
Nobody's, boo.
yeah, I had one business ask if we have anything from the county in writing saying that they cannot smoke it outside that business's door. It's a It's a private-owned business. And do we have anything written in the county stating that or not?
We were looking into that, and we still have to get an answer on that. I thought we had a public use ordinance already established,
That's what I thought we did
but
too.
we're starting to maybe discover that we don't. I don't know if you found anything more. I met with Catherine and
Okay.
David, and we looked at this all to get this here, not the public use piece of it, but that was part of our discussion. Because we did take it out of the ordinance, if you had a chance to read through it, as part of a P and Z thing, but,
See, I thought we approved
Jackie's
it the
got some.
same as we did for cigarette and so forth.
Well, with the Clean Indoor Act, there is 50 feet variance from the building entrance to a public, just from the front
Okay.
of the building that they have to allow before. So people smoking within 50 feet of a doorway is prohibited.
Okay. Does the county have that written? And where would they find it?
It's in our ordinance, right? Yeah,
They
so it's
would
written in
find
our
it the
ordinance.
Tobacco ordinance. And then I think we should do that, because like I said, I've already got a call. They would like to have it posted on the outside of their building. Okay,
Certainly, after the first of the year, we can bring it to, it's not urgent, but bring our tobacco ordinance in and talk and add the cannabis. Bring that up to the work session.
okay, if you would, yeah, I appreciate that. So, do we want to go ahead and pass this today? I mean, this is a public hearing one more time, or do we want to wait until the 30th?
Judging by the comments we're getting, I mean, nobody shows up. What's the difference if we do it now or then? I mean,
would you
get it
like
off
me
the list.
I mean, is state going to throw anything more at us before the 30th?
I highly doubt it.
They're all on vacation
Yeah.
already.
And we've passed it in the most restrictive manner within
Yeah.
what it allows
To this
for.
point, yeah. Would you like me to read the next, are we done with the public hearing portion probably then?
Discussion, guys, are we done with the public hearing? Do you want to go ahead to pass this today, or you want to wait
If
till
we
the
could,
30th?
if something major comes from the state, we could amend it, I'd imagine, so.
And I did send this to Jason to have him review it, and he said it's very similar to what a lot of other counties have adopted already, or will be adopting. There was something weird that happened. We initially had taken out section 12.04, the temporary cannabis events, and then, of course, wasn't even 8 o'clock the next morning, Jason emailed me and says that has to be in there. So we put that back in there, and I worked with him to just come up with some standards that are in there. They're limit on-site consumption to the low-dose edibles, hours that the event can be held. They can't be held in shoreland or residential zones. They need to provide off-street parking, provide restroom facilities, provide trash, garbage, recyclable disposal. They need to provide their own event security. That was a big one he noted, so we're not relying on our sheriff's office or local. They need to provide their own event security, and then it references the standards that are in the statute also. So we added that piece in there after the planning commission recommended. Otherwise, it's all exactly as recommended. Do you want me to read the board action for that then?
Yeah, well, Commissioner Newman?
I got a question. So how are they gonna transport this? I mean, say if they got a burnt-out taillight and the sheriff's department picks them up and they're transporting it from the grower to the store,
Yep.
okay?
The cannabis transportation is a license type. So they have to be licensed.
They have to have a license for that.
Yep.
I heard that also
Yep.
at AMC, I did hear that, yes.
Okay.
So, may I?
Yeah,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
absolutely.
So, repeat the event part, like.
Yep.
Well, I guess my question is, let's say that this summer, Long Prairie has, their weekly artists in the park, right? Concerts and.
fair.
And everybody's painfully arthritic and they wanna have some cannabis to help themselves. And somebody's there selling it, that's where, they gotta be permitted and.
Yeah, they need a special authorization to do a temporary off-site cannabis sale, but it doesn't allow for consumption on the site except for the low dose edibles.
Okay. I mean, could you envision like, you know, Johnny Holmes is playing at Clarissa Ballroom and, they're gonna have, cannabis.
Yep.
Something there, right?
Pop-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they need to
Hemp
identify.
Fest, Todd County,
that.
whatever.
Yep, and they need to, so I'm working on the registration form right now. I got that almost done, but my next thing will be a form for these temporary cannabis events where they come in, apply, and actually show us, like, here's my contract for garbage disposal, here's I got porta potty, whatever, like, prove to us that you have all these things met, and then we'll
Can be-
approve it.
Does it have to be where, you know, you're at the music concert and you can, does it have to be behind, behind the storage case or in cases or something?
Yeah, I'd have to look, some of those requirements may be in the statute, we don't have them outlined specifically in this ordinance here.
I'm just questioning Bob here.
I just want to think, we want
Yes,
to have a
Catherine.
healthy fine for when they don't get licensed, because we see that with special event food and camping and things like that, that people just don't know, and then they don't do it, or don't want to do it, or don't do it timely.
Right.
manner. So it's just something where you could generate some revenue by.
We could do
And then
that.
that helps enforce it better.
I like that.
Because if
Okay.
it's a low fine, then they're like,
Yeah.
it costs me probably.
One
just
sale,
as much to
I'm good.
register, so
Right.
why not just pay the fine?
So will those licenses stay within your department, or will they have to come up to the county board to get approved?
Should, the way we have this is that the temporary cannabis events would just be approval through our office. That they fill out the application, pay
Through
applicable
planning and
fees.
zoning.
Yes, yep, through the planning and zoning office. The registration we have written, that's for your retail site so that we can keep good documentation of who's out there to the best of our abilities. Those, we have to see that they have their state license, or they can get a pre-authorization from the state, and any of these other requirements, then we'll place it on the county board for approval of those registration licenses, or the retail licenses to be registered with the county.
So the license comes from the state, registrations come from the county
Right.
Madam
or
Chair,
city.
if I may, he could put them on consent items as we do the
That's what I was
gambling or the
gonna
liquor
say.
license.
like
Those
that.
come through us
That,
too
that,
and through
that
the
should come
state.
through so everyone's aware that this is happening. I don't
Like
want,
all-
I don't
like
want that to be all
envisioning.
placed on your
Yes.
office, honestly. That shouldn't get placed on your office. Anything kicks back and it comes back to your office every time then.
What's that?
You know, if you're doing the registration all in your office for these
Yep.
pop-ups, I mean, you should bring that here. We should be making the
Be
decision to
under
approve rather
consent
than you.
items such as gambling permits and liquor
Just the same as,
license.
yes, just the
Sure.
same as a sportsman's club wants to have an event or something like that. It's,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, well, may I ask
Yes,
another-
absolutely.
So like down
Public
in Long
hearing.
Prairie, they got, on Main Street, they have a smoke shop, right? There is an
Okay.
actual smoke shop. Let's say they apply for this. Now, if you were the Red Lounge or Irish's or whatever else, could you have, is there even like a drink that's cannabis that you can, they put that in drinks now too?
Yeah.
Most liquor
Really-
stores
They
got
really
'em.
couldn't do that, right? Because it'd be only so many per.
Most liquor
Well-
store got the low dose.
Yeah, the low dose, and I believe
Is there a high
the,
dose, you know, a big boy one?
the drinks and stuff fall into that low dose edible. So those are not restricted to that retail thing. So they're.
I got you, low
Can be,
dose.
yeah, it's just
But is there the high dose drink that?
they would have to then be permitted.
Well, yeah,
But,
what
yeah.
if municipal liquor store, I mean, what if they want to stock high dose
Yep, and they can,
canna juice or whatever?
but then they would have to be licensed, registered, do everything the same as somebody else that just wants to start just that specific business.
Okay, well, gotcha, thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm potentially hearing is to make some minor adjustments to this to include that these temporary cannabis events be a county board approval process. We can make a packet that goes in the consent agenda, which we can just mimic the language here from the registration pretty much. And maybe I can look into if we can place a fine in this section 2 for when they don't have the permitting.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
maybe we should wait and approve this on the 30th then. You know, I think there was good discussion again. Yeah.
Fine with me.
And I think, you know, this is being handed down to us from the state. we have no choice but to authorize it.
Did you need me to actually read this in there so then you can table
Yeah.
it or something like that?
Yep,
Sure,
that's
okay.
fine.
I'll start from the top. The Todd County Planning Commission reviewed the proposed language for regulations on cannabis businesses during the October, November, and December Planning Commission public hearings. During the December 5th meeting, the Planning Commission recommended adoption of Article 12 to be included in the Todd County Planning and Zoning Ordinance. Options are to adopt the recommendation of the Planning Commission, remand it back to the Planning Commission, or adopt proposed ordinance, proposed ordinance with changes. So the recommendation now would be to table the item for the meeting on the 30th.
30th,
Okay.
to make the corrections.
And I can make
And
those couple quick
If anybody's got
changes.
any other comments, make sure you get hold of Adam, because we have to do it on the 30th. Yeah, we should. I'll have a motion to table.
Move to table it until next meeting, please.
Okay, motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny to table. Discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's tabled till the 30th.
We'll be back one more time. Okay. Lastly, adoption of the Crow Wing River Memorandum of Agreement. The Crow Wing River Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan has been completed through the One Watershed, One Plan process. The Board of Commissioners have approved submittal of the plan to be submitted to Bowser for approval. The County Board must adopt the Memorandum of Agreement for implementation of the Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan. Options are a motion to adopt the attached MOA or motion to deny the MOA. Recommendation is adoption of the Crow Wing River Memorandum of Agreement for implementation of the Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan. The language in here is basically the same as the Mississippi Brainerd MOA that was adopted in the past. All the watersheds are pretty much similar language now.
Okay. I ask for a motion for the adoption of the Crow Wing River Memorandum of Agreement.
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mike.
My board actions will not be that exciting, I assure you. Well, the first board action I have is that recently the Sheriff's Office purchased new body cameras, and that came in a board action. As part of that purchase, the bill for the on-site deployment configuration and project management has yet to been paid. That amount is $16,000. That was omitted from the first board action, and that'll be paid for by public safety aid if needed, but I think we have enough in our equipment fund. So the recommendation was be authorization to pay the Motorola bill for the on-site deployment configuration and project management for $16,000 for the body cameras.
Okay, I need a motion to pay the Motorola bill for $16,000.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? Hearing no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
The second board action will be the amended from consent items. The background is there was a interview process was completed and Justin Gauthier was selected as the best candidate for the full-time road position. Gauthier's starting wage would be grade 10, step 3 at $30.20 an hour. A little background on that. Typically, we would give so many steps per years of service for a candidate. In this case, if we gave the candidate step 2, he'd be making less than he was making at his current position at Long Prairie PD. And so by giving him that extra step, you would put him really close to what he was making now. This candidate has gone through extensive DOR or DRE training. He's a drug recognition specialist, and so we feel that his knowledge could justify that increase of that 87 cents. So the recommendation from the county, from from the sheriff's office is to hire Justin Gauthier for a full-time road deputy position. Start date to be determined at the starting wage of grade 10, step 3, $30.20 per hour.
Okay, and I'd just like to make a comment. Mike's bringing this in because he brought it in front of the Personnel Committee. And being that this is a different pay grade than a normal person would start at, is why Mike is bringing that in front of the rest of the board. Okay, I would ask for a motion to hire Justin, how do you pronounce his last name?
Gauthier.
Gorfer at, let's see, grade 10, step 3.
I'll make the motion to hire Justin Gauthier at grade 10, step 3.
Okay, the motion from Nasca, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Denny. Any further discussion? And thank you, Mike, for bringing this
You're welcome.
forward.
Thanks, Mike.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mike.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, the first BAF we have in front of you today is purchase of a CAT wheeled excavator, model M318. The background is the solid waste department will be upgrading its operations from compaction container to walking floor trailer systems. A wheeled excavator will be required for the operations to process our MSW into the walking floor trailers. This unit will also help assist in loading our demolition materials as well once the new facility is operational. And through the state bid process, Caterpillar's bid was $377,950.45 for this wheeled excavator, including the rotator attachment. The rotator attachment is the unit that's on the end of the stick that helps us process the garbage into the trailer. Solid Waste submitted an improved project budget in February of 2024 of $425,000 for the wheeled excavator, so we were happy to see the estimate come in lower, including the bid. So the options is to award the bid to Caterpillar Equipment for the amount of $377,950.45, or do not award the bid to Caterpillar. It is our recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to approve the following motion to award the bid of $377,950.45 to Caterpillar for the M318 excavator.
Okay. I would like to have a motion for the purchase of a cat-wheeled excavator M318 in the amount of $377,950.45 to Caterpillar.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nasca. Discussion.
Mike, the only thing we can't use the cap grant for is like the semis, right? Stuff that goes down the road?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'll make sure. Thanks.
Any further discussion? Okay, and I know we've had some discussion up here this morning that this was part of the bid with the building.
That is
whole
correct.
Funding amount.
You know, what I like is when they include the funding source in these documents, cap grant.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
Okay.
sometimes it gets missed every once in a while.
Yeah. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Okay, the second item I have in front of you today is the 2025 solid waste budget. The proposed 2025 solid waste budget is for the amount of $3,216,900 in projected revenue and $3,377,250 in projected expenses. The budget does not include the transfer station construction project. This budget has been reviewed by the Solid Waste Committee and the Budget Committee as well. It is based on a revenue generated from our approved fee schedule, which is attached in that proposed resolution. Options are to approve the 2025 solid waste budget and attached resolution, or do not approve the budget. It is our recommendation is to approve the 2025 solid waste department budget with the attached resolution.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the 2025 solid waste department budget?
I'd like to have a quick discussion. I'm sorry. We want to do it
And
afterwards?
that's absolutely fine.
Yep.
ahead.
So we are looking to get approval for a,
Negative
to be in the
budget.
hole.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I seen that also.
Yep. Just a little background on that. I mean, solid waste is an enterprise fund, and our budget fluctuates with our commodities market. It's pretty easily to adjust our commodities up to a couple $100,000 a year in revenue just because of the fluctuation of the market. Just to give you history, the past history of our account has been somewhere in approximately 2.1 million since 2021. So it's easily absorbed through our solid waste enterprise fund number 51. So, and part of that is just because of the large cost of purchasing equipment right now, so that is fluctuating our expenses as well. And then also in anticipation of hiring another employee. So that has been budgeted for a 6-month stream as far as hiring that person in July. So some of that will be absorbed. Some of that, we have had discussion along the solid waste committee level of possibly increasing our parcel fees to cover this. So we kind of kicked the can down the road, as you want to say, right now with the budget. But with the enterprise fund, it's just a kind of a different animal as far as the way the income is. So
I guess my question is a follow-up question. Have we ever approved a negative budget before?
yes, I believe so, through the solid waste fund.
We
Yep.
did.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion.
I'm not sure I'm interested in approving a negative budget without seeing line item stuff.
And can we table this? I mean, could you bring us line items, things?
Sure.
I mean, we have another meeting on the 30th, if that's what you would like to do.
I'd feel probably more comfortable, I mean, I understand I definitely hear what you said about the commodity pricing and the equipment and labor, but I mean, I think I personally would like to see whether we do it then, I can come up and see a line, more of a light item budget for me to look through. Sorry.
To come into our offices and go through line items, because there's only 2 people that sit on the finance committee. We send out finance minutes in very good detail on everything we discuss.
Yep.
But if you don't study it and analyze it, you don't know it when it's presented. So yes,
Right.
we welcome you to come into our offices and go through those budgets.
Right.
Yeah.
I just, if you would
Sure.
humor me by allowing me to look at the line item budget.
Would you like to
or
make a
whoever-
motion to table it
I would like to make a motion to table this until
until the 30th?
30th, please.
Okay. And we'd like to see a line item.
Sure.
Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Newman. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, it will still pass, that we will bring it to
Yep.
the next meeting, December 30th, right? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Madam Chair,
Good morning.
Commissioners, I have a few board action forms in front of us to present today. The first one is to rescind Board Action Form 2024-1119-06. Some background. Rescind Board Action Form number 2024-1119-06. This was an offer made to an applicant, and she was not able to start with the county due to some daycare concerns, so, and filling that vacancy with her. So your options are to approve the rescinding of board action tracking number 2024-1119-06, or to not approve. It's our recommendation. You rescind the board action form tracking number 2024-1119-06.
Okay, I'd ask for a motion to rescind board action tracking number 2024-1119-06.
So move.
Motion by Newman, is there a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Second by Byers, discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and carries.
All right, we will repost that position and hope to get another good candidate. Next board action form is a request to remove the WIC coordinator position. Some background, the WIC coordinator position is no longer needed as the duties have been included in the public health nurse job description. It is your options to approve the removal of the WIC coordinator position or to not approve. It is our recommendation that you approve the removal of the WIC coordinator position.
Okay, is there a motion for the approval of the WIC coordinator position?
I'll make a motion to approve the removal of the WIC coordinator position.
Okay, I have a motion from Nazca. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and carries.
Great, thank you. Next board action form is the approval of the reciprocal memorandum of agreement for environmental health services between Morrison and Todd counties. Some background. The Department of Health requires that Todd County HHS have a backup agreement for our food, pools, and lodging delegation. The attached reciprocal memorandum of agreement between Morrison and Todd counties provides the interim environmental health services to meet the needs of the delegation agreement. Your options are to approve the reciprocal memorandum of agreement for environmental health services between Morrison and Todd counties, or to not approve. It's our recommendation to approve the reciprocal memorandum of agreement for environmental health services between Morrison and Todd counties.
And I do have a correction if you can scroll down, Denise, just reading through it. So the second bullet under therefore, just some poor typos. I'm just gonna state what it should read, that second bullet, instead of what it does currently read, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so Morrison County Health and Human Services and Todd County Health and Human Services shall, to the extent of staff availability, provide interim environmental health services for staff absences using the department personnel for needed routine duties such as inspections and for emergency response capabilities. So you'll see we wrote Morrison County Health and Human Services a couple times in there, and it's not correct. So I did do some replacement of this, and I think I just missed that. So if we could correct that second bullet so it's a little more clear.
Denise, we can send that correct.
And I can do the next
revised
one.
contract up for signature when.
Yep. I did want to make a update, just so you're aware. David Detterman did pass his registered environmental health sanitarian exam, which is wonderful. Todd County has not had a sanitarian on staff for over 30 years. So we are no longer needing to contract with Morrison County for those inspections. We now have this reciprocal mutual aid backup agreement, which will allow us to then back up for their staff. They can back up for David. And we'll also be bringing another very similar agreement with Horizon Public Health out of Douglas County, as we are required to have 2 backup agreements.
Okay. Then I would ask for a motion for the approval of the MOA for environmental health services between Morrison and Todd counties.
So move.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. Basically, David will do all of our,
This is just a backup plan.
this is just the backup. plan.
Yep, if he had our non-routine absence, then we'd ask Morrison County to back up.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you. And congratulations to David on passing that exam. It's a very
Yes.
tough exam, and rarely do people pass it the first round. So kudos to him. We are lucky to have him.
Absolutely.
Very good. Wow. Okay, next will be administration.
Good morning, Commissioners. I only have one board action this morning. Topic for this board action is amendment to board action 20241203-03. Background on here is BAF 2024120303 was previously approved with a resignation date of 12/2/24. This matter is being revisited to amend the BAF to reflect the accurate resignation date of 11/27/24. Options 1 would be approve the revision of BAF 20241203 03 to correct the resignation date of 11/27/24, or option 2, do not approve. The recommendation is to approve the revision of BAF 2024-1203-03 to the correct resignation date of 11/27/2024.
Okay, I ask for a motion for the approval of the revision of BAF and add the correct resignation date of 11/27/24.
So moved.
Motion by Newman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca, discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and carries. Thank you. And then we go to finance.
The 2025 county levy, background is the county board has approved the 2025 preliminary levy on September 17th and has held the truth and taxation hearing on December 4th to solidify the public input prior to final adoption. Your options are to approve the attached resolution or do not, and the recommendation is to approve the attached resolution to adopt the final 2025 county levy at $21,199,245, less program aids of $2,087,764, and less the use of fund balance $300,000, therefore certifying the 2025 final Todd County local levy at $18,481. This is a budgeted item.
Okay, I'd ask for a motion certifying the 2025 final county local levy at $18,811,481. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Along with our levy, then we need to also present our 2025 county budget. Background, the Todd County Board has approved the 2025 preliminary levy on September 17th and held the truth and taxation hearing on the 4th. Just as I said in the last one, our adoptions are to adopt the attached resolution or do not adopt. It is recommendation to adopt the 2025 county budget as presented, and you will see the revenues listed at 45 million and the expenditures at 45, using a fund balance of 300,000. That gives you each line item of what's the expenditures and what's the budgeted amount, revenues and expenditures.
Okay, I ask for a motion for the approval of the 2025 county budget.
Can we have discussion first, Madam Chair?
Yes.
So this does include the 300 from the fund balance?
Yes, we're offsetting 300,000 to help the,
So drop it from 6 point whatever percent down into 4.
right, to help the levy.
Yes.
Yeah.
To offset to the taxpayers.
Right,
You're choosing to use some revenue dollars that we have
exactly.
in savings.
Okay,
And the theory on that is, you're saving that money, which is great, we have a good fund balance, but you also have to realize that's taxpayer dollars sitting in there. So why would you increase your levy exorbitantly for taxpayers to pay more when
Give the
they've already
taxpayer
paid that?
a break.
Can you scroll down on expenditures
Sure.
a little more for me, please? Yeah, thank you.
And if you want, I can make it smaller so it's all on one.
Big enough, I'm just reading them all.
Need a motion on that, Madam Chair?
Did I get a
Remember, now the
motion?
budget part of this is just
Okay.
the forecast. We're just
Yep.
forecasting this. The levy is the one we sit where, and levy is actually levy dollars that help offset this.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess what I was just thinking is, we table Mike's
Right.
stuff that's in here. At
No,
his cur-
he's
'cause in-
a-
It's the other thing you called it,
He's his
The
own
other
agency.
fund.
He's an
Yeah.
enterprise fund.
Enterprise fund.
Encampment, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
no,
Enterprise fund.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, I'd ask for a motion for the approval of the 2025 county budget.
So move.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. And thank you to Denise and your group downstairs. That's
Department
done a
heads.
lot of work. Department heads for going through all of this with us. It's a 6-month or better effort by the whole county to get to this point. So I thank everybody that's helped us along the way.
Thank you.
We are down to standing reports. Auditor Treasurer.
We have auditors here this week, and I don't know, it's just been busy with meetings, year end. So I'm just gonna say, a lot of meetings.
Okay. Let's see. County Attorney's not here. County Coordinator.
I attended a meeting to work on finalizing the retail cannabis business ordinance. Had a department head meeting, finance meeting, the truth and taxation meeting, and personnel meeting. I attended the Long Prairie Chamber of Commerce event that highlighted Alexandria Technical College and their programs. Also attended the AMC conference, 3-day conference in Bloomington, and then had participated in union negotiations.
Okay, thank you, Jack. And then we'll start with Commissioner Denny.
Yeah, I guess, basically, like Denise has a lot of meetings lately, at the end of the year, trying to get everyone's figured out with, committee-wise. I also did the TNT meeting, planning and zoning meeting, just appalled that no one's coming about that ordinance for the cannabis stuff, can't believe that yet. I didn't make it AMC this year, attended my other meetings, and then, was in negotiations, yesterday with full board and their whole staff, everybody. So, that's all.
Commissioner Newman.
Yes, Madam Chair. Had a department head meeting, finance meeting, TNT meeting, 4 days down at AMC, got to see the Gov on December 9th. Water and soil, solid waste, personnel, Rainbow Rider, which has been really interesting. We've been working on a new bus barn for Alec. We've been working on it for like 4 or 5 years. We've sent it out for bids. The contractor didn't get the money or the information back to MnDOT, so they rejected it. We put it back out for bids. The next person that got it did not have enough minority contractors, so kicked that out. So we put it to the next one. Same situation. That one got kicked out. So now we're back to the original contractor that bid it the first time, and he says he's got 20% instead of the required 7% at the state, so we're just keeping our fingers crossed. But that's what happens when you start dealing with federal money, instead of just, doing it with the state. The federal has a little bit more restraints than anything else. And then yesterday, spent all day with all you guys on union negotiations, so it was a fun day.
Commissioner Byers.
Oh, thanks, Madam Chair. Myself and Commissioner Nazca had our TCDC review with the director. I think that was Monday the 2nd. I don't know if we reported on it before, but I'll say we did attend that, went through the annual performance review there. And then Tuesday the 3rd, we had the Long Prairie, I went to their comprehensive planning session, and then we had extension that evening, the 7 p.m. And then I guess, a lot of these other things we all attended together, but the big thing on AMC for me was that I got a chance to talk to our auditor at length about who, why, and when we would audit some department or some area or whatever. So I'm much clearer on that. I got a chance to talk to Douglas Morris and Otter Tail County Commissioners about some of the shared watershed stuff we do. So, nice seeing them outside the committee stuff and actually have a Bob and Joe talk or whatever. The last thing I would report about AMC was, and I wish Mitch was here, but probably doesn't want to hear this, but still the credits on solar are huge. They were talking about a liquor store. Some county has a municipal liquor store and they put solar panels on it. $250,000 project. They ended up paying only $18,000 out of pocket for it because of the federal, state, and then USA-made grants that are available. So, I mean, I look at that fairgrounds and all these buildings with nothing on them, and I look at the government centers and whatnot, and I think it's, we don't have a lot of knowledge on it, but we really gotta look at it, because the payback period's 2 or 3 years, that means anybody from investment standpoint's payback period time, so. That's it, thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Maska?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, most of the meetings I attended was with one of my fellow commissioners here. One thing I do want to mention, though, I know we all sat on it, but it was the 4th. We had the truth and taxation. I know it was bad weather, but I mean, this is just addressing the public. If you've got problems with your taxes and you don't like the way things are going here, please show up and tell us what's wrong, what we're doing wrong. Give us some direction here on your end as well. But it's kind of one of those things where we offer these open meetings to hear some input, and no one shows up. It's the same as our cannabis, and then 2 months down the road, when we've got it set in stone, someone's gonna be complaining. I really wish that we get a little more involvement out of the public.
Okay. For myself, I attended the extension meeting, finance, the truth and taxation, which is getting them to understand it's the budget meeting. It's how we're spending the money at the budget. Soil and water meeting, AMC from the 8th through the 11th. Visiting with the other commissioners, just spending time down there, going to the short work sessions and so forth. It's just very, very helpful, I think. And then yesterday, we were all in negotiations all day. So with that, I would ask if there's anything to come before the board.
One more thing, Madam Chair, we did get the forecast from the state down there, and it looks like we're gonna be on an airplane heading downward in 28, 29, so.
On that note, we had an $18.1 million budget surplus. 90% of that went to HHS and education in the state of Minnesota. If you wanna know where and of course, they are building a $750 million playhouse. So, if we went over 18.1 billion went, those were the 3 biggest things. And, what's it, 5.7 billion deficit in 2027. So think about the LGA we're really gonna get at the county level in 2 years.
Yeah.
But they did tell us we might have a little bit more stable numbers in February, March? That's what they were hoping anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a very interesting meeting. With that, I would ask for a motion to recess until December 30th.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Naska, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion, it'll be the last meeting of the year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and carries. We'll go into work session. We'll just you guys want to take a 5-minute break or? Hey, let's see, I should bring up my agenda and we'll go ahead
Just
and
like,
start the
this
work
is for reading,
session.
right?
Yeah.
And the first thing is transfer station. Hi, Mike.
All right, just a quick update. We do have a map they can pull up.
Oh,
And then if you can go to like 150% on, and,
150%?
yep, and then center it onto the office scale house building.
Okay.
Oh, 150.
Yep.
He's done a dry run on this, I think.
Am I close?
Yep, keep going a little bit further. There we go.
All right.
Okay, just kind of give you a quick update on the transfer station updates. We did have an elevation issue, the building, the office scale house facility. I will approach the screen here. Is labeled here. This elevation was actually supposed to be 1291.5, so 18 inches off. The building was actually a little bit lower. So we had an alternative design made to correct the error, and that is in this area right in through here. This is bituminous, so this used to be green space. So to correct that elevation change as minimal cost as we could, what they did is they increased the sidewalks, and there's actually 2 steps here and 3 steps there, and then they put this in a transfer ramp, so if there's handicap accessible, and also put drains in here to keep water shed. And this is a transformer pad that generates the power to the facility. This will all be just landscape rock, so we did away with any greenery there. So it's a really easy adjustment, so there really isn't any adjustment and any added cost to laying pipe and put drainage in. So that's how Stantec and High-Tech Prime and that we reviewed and went through, and Lauren Fellbaum was involved in this as well, where this is where that adjustment is done. So that has all been accepted, and they relayed to us last week. Actually, we have a construction meeting at 1 o'clock again, but between them, Stantec and High-Tech, there's no cost for the adjustment. They ate the total cost of that. So, but just to give you an idea what that elevation looks like and how it was affecting how we accessed from the HHW building, which is to the left. And that's the start of our whole new transfer station. Why that is important is that's where our reuse store will be, and our HH facility store will be open year-round. So there will be quite a bit of traffic right in through that area. So if they want to access the office, they can quickly just walk across there. But to give you a current update, right now they are, for the people that drive by the facility every day on the way into work, they are starting to sheet the walls. They're starting on the HHW facility entrance to the east first. Them walls are actually insulated. They're capping the entrance that goes into the transfer station above the overhead doors as we speak. Everything is ready to go as far as starting attaching the roof linings. So they will be doing that after the first year. Of course, with the holiday season coming up, they're going to be pretty short-staffed. The office scale house right now is all taped and sheetrocked. All the HVAC system is installed. So there's temporary heat in there right now. Today at 1 o'clock, we'll go through and start picking out colors and some of that stuff. They'll start installing tile. So the inside of it is coming along really, really nicely. They'll start working on, starting next week, they will start installing the sprinkler head system, fire prevention system in the office scale house as well. So everything is moving along pretty well.
so just out of curiosity, you said they're going to start picking out colors and so forth. Who does that? The
Mitch
people
is going to come today. We're probably 2 weeks away completely from doing it.
Okay.
Obviously, I review it with my staff, and then we'll present colors to you guys if you would like. Depends on if you have really any interest in picking out wall color, I guess.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm out of it, so I'm relying on
I'm not a
Jessica's professional.
interior designer either. Just curious.
Right. And it'll be, modest, obviously just for cleaning, but Mitch will be there today for the first time because we're getting that close. We're starting to, all the windows are in. Right now they're using temporary heat on the outside. They're putting the caps on top of the rock so that they'll start be siding as well here shortly after the first of the year, so.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yeah.
when they painted my office, when I got a new desk, Mitch has a design packet from an interior design that's like just these basic colors, and he
Okay.
keeps everything pretty
Yep.
neutral.
I just don't want to be, you know,
Right.
the one that says, when the first person walks in and says, well, who picked out this color? It's just like,
Right.
Yes,
Not
but they do bring up a palette, and then they have accent colors that are just for office, so.
okay.
On that elevation change drainage, so is everything kind of then draining to the west of the office scale building? You had to put drains in that ramp area?
Yeah, and the green space to the south of that is kind of where it kind of filters into the grass area.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's going to break to the south. It's not a big area. I mean, it's pretty small. The good thing with the elevation change, it really didn't affect, we were concerned about it affecting the scale location to the north on that side of it, but, because there's existing tile and storm sewer that goes around there, so they were able to make that work. We actually just had to, where the ramp is between the two buildings, they just had to lower the pipe another foot, so it was pretty minimal, so. So we're really happy. It's a nice, clean design, so.
Great.
Good. Any questions, commissioners?
No.
You guys see it, I suppose.
Yep, we're good.
All right. Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
thank you.
Thank you much.
Jim and I are here to talk about the addition of a care coordinator position. Just for the volume of work that we've had and some open positions and vacancies, the need for this position is urgent. There's a lot of work that clients for placement and services that are falling extremely behind, where it's becoming very worrisome on our part, but is ultimately affecting your constituents and where they can be placed from facility to facility. So we are here in front of you today to start that process as we went to personnel and to request the addition of a care coordination, and then over time, as through attrition, that we would make this a balance neutral with the volume of staff in our department, so.
Okay, I guess when you came to personnel, it was, we have a person sitting in that position or in that spot right now, and we don't know what's gonna happen with this person. And if we wait for this person to either be able to exit, we don't know how long that's gonna take. This would be a temporary slot that we're making right now that would slide into that position when this person is gone.
Correct.
So it's just like a temporary holding slot, because these guys need help. They can't leave this go.
Yes, so right now, as it stands, it's been since August that we've been down 2 people. Our 8 case managers or care coordinators, they're doing their own reassessments right now on top of their caseload, and they're in the rotation for new assessments. Our new assessments aren't slowing down by any means, which is good that people are accessing services, but we aren't even meeting our state statute requirements of 20 business days to get those assessments done. It's at least a month out, and which is audible, but the part, like Jackie had mentioned, that's concerning is that our people aren't getting assessed and get their timely services. So this affects everyone in Todd County, really, who may need services. This prevents people from going into the nursing home or hospital, and which is definitely more expensive. But on top of that, adding that, Hillary, Jake, and I are also doing assessments, which we will gladly do to help out. We have the DD unit helping out, but our staff can only maintain that so long. Their physical and mental health is getting affected by it as well, and it's just getting to be quite the dire situation.
Yeah, and so that's why we at the Personnel Committee elected to bring it here today. Hopefully, we can put it on the 30th agenda so that we can advertise and have this extra space, so that they can get the help that they need.
And at the end of, as we wait this out, it would be a balance neutral. Well, actually,
Yes.
a savings, but the volume of staff that we have in our department would be the same at the end of
Yep. So I don't know if you guys have any questions for them?
Well, I got the email yesterday. I kind of
Okay.
understood it.
Yeah, I
Did a good job.
appreciated the email too,
Yep,
Kim.
thank you.
Yeah. And with that, if there's not any questions, we'll just
Bring it
plan on
forward.
putting this on the December 30th meeting.
I thank you for that, and I'm sure that there are ears out there and people that are watching the board meeting that will thank you as well.
For sure, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Perfect, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, so I bring before you 3 items today to just discuss review. And I'm bringing them before you so that you have a few weeks to analyze them, understand them, and be engaged when we bring them the first board meeting. The first one we'll be discussing is the board schedule. And that one in the packet shows that there shouldn't be any date changes this year. In the past, we've had to change dates for elections or holidays. We're not foreseeing any. We did not make a change on those dates for AMC, but that is something we can look at as we get closer to that time frame. And if you needed to change something. I'm not predicting that they will, because when we looked at the calendar, Thanksgiving is very late. And so I don't think they'll run AMC on that holiday weekend, because if we're down there Sunday night, that's the weekend just after Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking it'll be the following week. So I think our board dates are good. This is our projected, the commissioner meeting date, and then when the board submittal date. And then as that gets cleaned up, we'll send that off as the beginning year to all the departments, so they have that. And then, so moving right along, we get into the board protocol. And if there's anything on the board protocol that you want to look at or change, please have that discussion so that when we get into that January 1st board meeting, that one gets very hectic because it's a lot of new business, it's a lot of adopting this, adopting that, and it's things for the new year. Some things that we'll look at doing in my division will be, we talked about several things as far as getting those checks boxes on the new board actions to say, has this been to finance? Has this been to personnel? Those kind of things.
We were gonna put one for the attorney, because I did see today, the one that came through needed the county attorney's signature on that contract.
Okay. Yep, that's something we can look at adding.
And I think that was brought up during a work session or.
And we were gonna have some discussions as far as my note of recapping from the year I've been keeping notes, is that we were gonna have that discussion on, do all contracts go through John, and having his checkbox on that board action as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that was suggested or agreed upon, and he was aware of it, and he thought that was a good idea to include that.
Okay, so those are some things. As far as board protocol, then, if we go just through it quickly, you'll see, you'll designate a chairperson and a vice chair that first meeting. Regular board meetings are Tuesdays, the 1st and 3rd of each month. They start at 9 a.m. with a work session to follow. Any special meetings can be sorry, did somebody have something? Any special meetings can be called 3 days in advance. Always remembering that your role officer is your chair. Just mindful of etiquette and board protocol in directing whoever the chair is to speak. Minutes shall be done by myself and be on we try to keep them on right away the next agenda. In this last few months, we were kind of behind a meeting or two just due to election timing, but that typically doesn't happen. Order of business, you guys know there's public comment time, then we have order and decorum of the meeting. As again, that's where I said you address it, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, and keeping board protocol. Along with board protocol, then also I would acknowledge that and I don't know that we've talked about in the past, but I think the chairperson moving into this position needs to know that they command the building, the room. And so when you have people come in and don't take their hats off, you should kindly remind them, we are in the presence of a board meeting with a flag. Hats should be removed, cell phones should be off and put away. There's a lot of times where people aren't engaged because they're on different devices. And so those are things that I think as the board chair moving into this really needs to, I know we had in one of our meetings, can't recall off the top of my head what now, maybe it was policy, that even Jenna says in HHS, they actually have a division protocol for their meetings so that they know is that not right that Jenna was talking about, that the cell phones and the iPads and everything is?
That's included in their policy.
Yeah, it's included in there, which I did not know they had their own standalone policy for their division. So something that the chair should look at. Moving along, agenda, we kindly ask that you get things to myself or Jolene the Wednesday prior to the board, so we have some time to get it on the agenda, analyze it. If there's any research we need to do, please give us time in advance to do that for you. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you. Consent items, again, those are, sometimes people get confused in what they can put on there. And it was very good of Mike to step forward today and amend that one, because just minutes, permits and licenses, hiring of employees and departure is the only things that should be consent items. Anything else that has something a little wonky to it needs to be on its own department division to discuss. Discussion and debates, again, we follow Robert's Rule of Order. We're guided by it, but we're not limited to it. It's kind of board practice, board protocol, whatever you guys choose to do in your past practice is what we follow. So these are some things I just want you to know: voting, calling to order, the clerking to the board. Just kind of go through it and make yourself aware of it. Sometimes I think that first meeting comes and this gets thrown at you guys, and no offense, but I feel like it just goes, okay, let's pass it. And I just want everybody to take onus to that, to know that you're sitting in this elected position and to uphold those. If there's anything else anybody has to add to that, feel free to offer it now or in the next week or two before the first board meeting. And then my last item I would have then was the committee assignments. And that's really important to me too, because I think that in years past, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and it seems like it comes up in January and it's business as usual, or we did, yep, just keep me on the same thing. Sometimes you need new life. Sometimes you need to switch committees. Sometimes you have to abstain from committees because you might have an interest invested some outside of here and you can't be on that committee. I get that. If you know the meeting timeframes, we always like to update those too. Sometimes are just you meet as needed, so we just put that. Sometimes it's a specific, we meet on the second Monday and the fourth Tuesday, and those are things to put in there because people will call and ask us and we'll be like, we don't sit on these committees, we don't know. So if you can help us out, just updating the meeting timetable as well. Really study this and see where you're at, where you want to be, if you're staying on the same committees. They're very important too, because I'll get notification, and maybe Jackie will as coordinator at the beginning of the year, from AMC, from MCIT, who's your voting member. So I always give for MCIT, it's the chair and the vice. AMC, it's usually been the same thing, but then you also have voting members that sit on your specific committees. And then when we go down there, like one time somebody wasn't there and I asked, well, I'm representing Todd County. Well, they wouldn't let me vote. No. And I'm like, okay, so now we don't have a vote in here. And it's very important because a lot of it is like, they'll go over the whole platform of what they're gonna work for the special session coming up. And we don't have a voice in it, even though it might be something that's affecting us right here in Todd County. So make sure that you pick the committee that you're engaged in, is what I'm trying to say. I don't wanna beat a dead horse. I'm just really wanting you to be engaged and invested in these because they are very important.
Denise, is there, I used to be on freshwater. Is freshwater listed on here any longer? Gary and I used to go to 2 meetings a year, and I have not been notified of a freshwater meeting.
No, we have not either. We can reach out to them and ask them, but if they've changed.
I don't know, but I have not. Are you on with me?
On freshwater, if I took over Gary's, I would have been with
Well,
you.
and that's what I'm thinking. But Gary and I always used to go to those meetings. Sure. And then they had new elections of officers or something,
Okay.
and that's the last I've heard
Well,
of
see, that's a
it.
good question. We can reach out to them and ask.
And
if- Okay.
The other thing is, in 10 years, I've never been to a airport meeting in Staples.
I never have been, We've never received an email of when it
Stays
is.
on the list.
I mean, does it even have to be listed any longer?
Well, if they're.
And the airport for Staples is in Wadena County,
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's something we can remove
right?
from.
Yep.
I mean, it is.
That doesn't make
Okay.
no sense.
It
No.
does.
I mean,
It's a city airport, but I guess, I don't, it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I'd claim it.
No.
I'd claim it for Todd.
But you guys
Bet
go to
you're
the
wrong.
Long Prairie Airport meeting.
Yeah, we've had 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you need to review these too, because we don't always get updated on it either.
Well, there's no like cost share deal like we have with Long Prairie, is there?
Yes, cost share to the
With
airport
at Staples
here.
too?
Well, I'm not, Staples, I'm not aware of. I didn't even know
Long
there was
Prairie,
a
of
board.
course, yeah.
But Long Prairie there is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can X buyers off the Todd County HRA and just leave Denny as an alternate with me. That's fine.
Yeah, gotta get off that.
And then there's one where buyers, I think, needs to get moved over one in the TCDC.
Which category is that under? I'm sorry, I wasn't
Yeah.
following.
The Todd County Development Corp and the Community Growth Committees.
Oh, okay,
It just needs to be moved over a column to the right. Buyers is in Denny's column.
okay.
And then there's one he's just X'd off on the
HRA.
Oh, HRA.
That was a
You
mid-year
completely?
shift. That was a mid-shift.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we tried to, but then he's got other interests that doesn't
can't,
allow him.
Oh, look at you. Are we telling you
Full
right now?
disclosure.
Yeah. Are we telling you right now which ones work
No,
or no?
not
Okay.
now.
Okay, I
They-
just
he
wanna
just
make sure.
mentioned
But you know,
First mention some
if
corrections.
they do know
Yeah.
right now,
If they do, that's fine, yeah.
I mean,
Well-
to me, it's easier to do it sometimes than
Yeah,
we're in the
then
middle
that
of a
first
meeting.
gets.
I'll just put it out there. I gotta sign the Crow Wing watershed plan, but that's the exact time I'm in perm for my Prairie Lakes, solid waste. And I've tried to
I'll see if I can,
do that back and forth.
let me
and
check my calendar.
it's Fourth Wednesday at 9.
So
Where's
that's a
that?
Crow Wing watershed?
Yeah, that's just, cause I gotta be in perm at 10 for, Prairie Lakes.
I mean, I'm an alternate on that one.
But it's not as consistent as the fourth Wednesday. They do a lot of canceling meetings and so.
Yeah,
Hit and miss,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
I guess we could, I'm sure I can probably take it. It's a little bit of a conflict of my position over there. 'Cause I work with the Crow Wing watershed and we take funding
Yeah,
from
that
them at
probably
Morrison.
wouldn't be good then.
No, I don't think, that might not be a good idea, but
I don't even know that you
I-
should have been an alternate.
I get the emails and updates yet from them what we're doing, and then Adam keeps me filled in. But I mean, if you want to leave it that, I can't make those meetings. That's the only unfortunate part. With Jake, the guy who's running them, that Jake Shaughnessy, I stay in contact, but I can't make those work. Unfortunately.
Okay, so that's one I'll highlight because that's one we should look at if somebody
And you
could pick
guys are
that.
also on the Mississippi,
I'm on like 3 watersheds.
And-
I'm not interested in
yeah.
any more watersheds, to be honest
I'm
with
on the
you.
Long Prairie one.
I'm on the south.
No offense, but
To
I
be
don't
fair,
blame ya.
I have asked them to move that time a couple different times.
And they don't.
They
you're
can't.
in Bowser
No.
one more, too many times anyway.
It's not that I don't want to be on, it's just that like
Right.
physically
I-
can't
no,
make it.
Totally understand.
But that's
Okay,
the one that I struggle
and
with.
that, they meet in Brainerd?
It depends, Staples sometimes. They've been doing Staples lately.
And maybe that's one I can take, because I'm going off some of these other finance and all
Right.
these other meetings. Yeah,
You want me
Sometimes,
to put you in on this crowing? then?
yeah, I can go
Okay.
Crow Wing, because that's up more my area.
sometimes they do a Zoom, sometimes it's just Staples and
Yeah, or Brainerd.
Brainerd
Yeah.
once in a while, yeah. But it's not as consistent as that fourth Wednesday.
I am going to remove Nazca as the alternate too, because I don't want that to be a conflict with his current
well,
position.
yeah, a lot of
You
those
can
are
keep me as
really-
an alternate, you know, I mean, it
Oh,
just,
yeah,
Okay.
put Tim as alternate then.
fine
That
with
works. Okay, so I have Becker and then Tim as an alternate for
Yeah.
Crow Wing Watershed Plan.
He's got
Yeah,
five.
is there any other ones you want to look at? Like I said, the first category, if you're on the first page, those are all,
That one that we have to make sure is that Minnesota Rural County Caucus, and that's the one that we have at AMC, and that's the one we can never vote at.
Yeah.
so.
You want it?
Which one
Can
is this
you?
now?
Buyers?
Minnesota Rural County.
Where is that one?
That's huge one.
Very first page.
Yep, and that's all through AMC.
You're all listed, but
Yeah,
the
but they won't
problem
let
is,
us vote.
Denny is the voter, and if he's
Yeah.
not at AMC.
Which I don't know why they want, if we're all listed, why
They
can't?
won't, you have to sign in and you have to put an X by your name. We tried it again this year.
Somewhere we will.
Yeah, it was in Fergus Falls, it's in the cities, yeah.
And it's not the first Monday of the month at 10, that's not consistent either.
No, but usually those are on Zoom.
Those are, well, lately they've been wanting them to do them in Allen.
And
Oh, in Alley,
Yeah.
okay.
Should I try to reach out and see if they can somehow put all 5 of you on?
they won't,
They
only want one
won't,
vote.
we've
Just
tried
won't
it.
do it?
Let's,
Okay.
let's list Bob as first,
Okay.
And
and
then,
Randy, you wanna be second?
well, then the rest of you are alternates.
Well, then they're all
There's
alternates.
only
Yeah.
one,
One's alternates, then.
so Bob will be the main person and the rest are alternates.
Either that or put Randy as alternate and then list us, put Randy second, and then list the rest of us as alternates under Randy. Because maybe they'll just take the top two.
No, they won't. It's only one vote.
Yeah, but the alternate can vote if the person's not there, but they only list one alternate.
That's why you guys are all listed as
They're all
alternates.
listed on there.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
you
they
can all
only
attend.
listed one alternate in the cities. I was up there. I checked it out.
So they did, who did they have listed then?
They had
Because last year when I attended.
Tim and Lou.
Ooh, yeah. Ted
Yeah.
turned Lou down.
And that's
Why
the
would
only
they have-
two
why would they
that
have
could
me as
have.
the alternate? Just me.
But Douglas County told them they could do all
Will you
5
check
could do
with-
it.
Get
I'll check with-
clarification.
I'm gonna let her check.
That's what.
Why don't I
Check
double
it out.
check?
You know, because the thing of it is when we're at those
Remember,
meetings,
that's
it
where
sure
your
is nice to
recommendation
have
came
our,
from.
I mean, if a lot of meetings in
instead of
Alec,
listening, we could have our
Put 'em all
input
down.
into those
verified that
meetings.
at-
if a lot of it's Alec, I'm more than happy to
Charlie
do
Meyer.
Alec,
Sure.
Yeah.
especially since I have
He put all 5.
interest over there now, so.
Explains why.
And
Jerry
Bob, if
was
you're
in
taking
there.
on too many more
Right.
committees, I can probably
Check
take that
before the
wellness committee
30th.
off you if you want.
What about department head
it's
meeting?
like-
Is that not get listed on this?
Which one, Jackie?
Department
If
head
you wanna
meeting?
take them
That's
off
the
your
chair
calendar,
and vice
I'll
chair.
put it up, even if it's
Okay.
3-4 meetings a year, it's fine.
If
That's about what it is.
Well, let me know when.
wanted
It under
to,
leadership.
Caucus ones,
They
I
call it
remember
leadership.
asking Jay.
oh, that's called leadership. Oh,
That's
okay, got it, got it.
But we didn't have a meeting yet.
You got a lot.
Could they
Let me
do
know.
a rotational, Barb? Like, could we try?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm,
know
Everyone on it.
what the
I mean, that's when I
commissioners
don't
think,
have a-
but
Yeah, actually, Jackie,
If you would, that'd be
if
great.
this has been
Well,
kind of a
let's do
bonkers
that
2
then. I can
years
just
just
switch it right
because of
now.
new
Where's it
commissioners on.
listed on here? And
But
then-
normally, it would be a
strategic
rotation,
efficient
and every
Oh, there it
year,
is, yeah,
there would be a
wellness.
new commissioner on that, because every
Okay.
year, it's supposed to be a rotation.
okay.
And so the chair would move off, you'd have a new vice chair every
That's
year.
fine,
Okay.
But it's
whatever.
good, then-
Typically are lined
Off
up
your
how the
list then,
rotation.
Yeah,
And you get
and
enough
so we
votes.
all
This would
rotate
really-
one chair.
If this would follow next year, just a
This year,
synopsis.
we're room.
This year, we're rotating two chairs.
Those two would move here.
Yes.
Then he would move down there. Then
Yep.
Tim would move up, Lou would move up. That's how
Yes,
this rotation works.
that's the rotation of the board.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so
It
every
just-
year, you would have a different commissioner on, so in 4 years, you would see
You'll see
basically
the
every
rotation.
commissioner.
Through that.
It just got wonky because we had new.
But it can get
and-
changed anytime by any of us for any reason. There's no set reason why we have to have a rotation. I'm fine with it, but there's
No,
no,
I'm trying to explain to
There's not-
Jackie why there is a
there's no
rotation.
policy on it, no.
I don't- there's
Well, the thing of it is for like our department head meetings, so that they get to see, soil and water is another one that use the rotation of the board for their person sitting on that
Okay.
board.
Kick me off.
You have different internal committees
Yes,
that then you would see the functions of them, and then those department heads and personnel would see you
yes,
and get to know you, and you would learn the
Yep.
ins and outs. And
Yeah.
that's why the rotation happens.
yeah.
It was just an idea that I had earlier, thinking that
Rotate.
for just the department head meetings for now, that maybe the commissioners would like to come, like 2 different ones would like to come every month, just to be there in front of them and, I don't know, to keep that connection going with all the department heads and the commissioners, all 5.
Yeah, we talked about, I
But
mean,
let's think about it.
I kind of threw
It's
that
an
around too
idea.
a little bit. I think the chair should always be in there, and then if the vice chair for some, if it's whatever reason, the vice chair might say, you know what, Louis or whoever's not the vice chair.
Well, see, and we've done that if, you know, because I think, Bob, you sat in for me because I had another
Right,
meeting.
I did.
And so we just went down to the next chair, if you could come in,
Or who
come
can
in,
make it, you know.
Called Tim.
you know,
Sometimes in that, I mean, that's your meeting.
yeah.
So, I mean, we're there to be, you know, listen.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know,
Right. Okay.
you bring the hammer and shield and we'll, if it's a
And you
no,
can
if it's
rotate
a
'em,
no,
you
you
just-
say it, yes, we'll say it.
Yeah,
Just can't have all 5 present at a department head meeting
No,
because we talk
sure.
about a lot of confidential internal
yeah.
office stuff, so we can't have
Yeah.
that.
and that's the same with soil and water, it's always been the chair and vice chair. And with the rotation, then everybody gets
6 inches, something like
to
that.
see it, and
Five,
soil
6
and
inches.
water had made that suggestion,
Okay. That sounds good. Okay.
One for me.
you know.
Anyhow, like I said, just, my presentation
the
today is
same
just to get
funding
this in
source.
your hands
Do a
so
lot
that
of
you
times.
can
It's a tough one for me to sit
Oh,
on.
study it
Yeah.
and decide before the first.
Denise?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna take, the wellness off of Bob, if he's gonna be
Oh,
adding
sure.
a pile to him, so throw that one on mine,
Maybe doing this like next week.
Okay,
What,
That's
So-
the 30th meeting.
yeah, we'll finish it, we're just looking at,
Well, we
yeah.
can-
we're just looking at them now. I'm not trying to keep you any
No.
longer.
Oh,
It's
we can
just,
still adjust them next.
Yeah, we
Absolutely,
can, at the
we're just
meeting, we're just
looking at some of the ones that we
hashing some.
know that,
And Denise, I don't mean, this
Listen,
is
I had to give
off
up
topic right now,
Six
but
pack to get him to take
Gerhard
that one.
Hendricks,
Yeah.
did he email
What's that?
you?
Sorry.
I gave him a 6 pack
No,
to take wellness.
They need to
so.
get in here.
I know they do.
Well, so can we get them on the fair?
What bet did
on
he
the
lose?
Agenda for the 30th, because they need to just, at least
meeting.
give us an update, we just want an update and maybe
is
a
that the
budget,
Ag
whatever.
Society?
Yes.
We're yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Very good,
I'm getting them
yeah,
on here the 30th, we're
Good.
putting them on the agenda,
He
if
did
they don't
email
show
me.
up, then they got problems.
Yep.
yes,
He emailed me, but I was in negotiations when I got it.
Well, it was Friday, so he couldn't have got on anyway for this one, he
No.
emailed you on Friday, it's too
Yes.
late, so. But
Yeah.
we're gonna get him on the 30th, so we can
awesome,
get him in here,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that we need to do.
Yes.
yeah.
So on the 30th, I will have Ag Society present
I'm
something.
telling, I'm
And-
gonna just shoot him a text right now and tell him
Please do.
I got you on
Other
for the
thing I'm gonna
30th.
put up
Yes,
to you
thank you.
guys
Okay.
when
And
you're
tell
on
him
the
then I will not, I'll just reach
fair
out
part,
saying, have your
do either one of you
documentation to
want
me, but otherwise,
extension?
it's
Oh, I
confirmed.
guess I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
One more time?
Do,
Yeah,
does
that'd be
someone
good.
else want extension? I mean,
agree.
this is the Ag Society you're on,
Mm-hmm.
and part of that is
I-
the whole extension part of
I will
it.
just say this. I thought that would be a committee that I really wasn't gonna connect with, and I really have.
Yeah, I mean,
It's-
and that's what Randy
it's
and
4 times a
I've been
year.
on there for 10
Which one
years
is
now.
X extension with Todd, I mean,
What day is that?
It's always an evening.
I would actually miss that meeting, to be honest with you.
You know, so
The
keep that
people
in
on it are
mind.
good.
It's usually a Monday evening.
But
They meet 4 times a year.
Yep.
Monday night, Denise is there.
I was surprised, but I'm
It
happily surprised,
makes
yeah.
you aware of what they're actually doing, you know,
Yeah.
Interesting.
it
Well, if
is.
you're like, you know,
Kids
if
involved.
you have ag interest, some of the members are really amazing.
I mean, even when we went
Legit.
out for the new farmer,
Yeah.
you know,
the-
out to
Fun.
their farm and stuff, yeah.
Yep. That'd be
That
the
was
So-
fun. And the Great River Regional Library Board has reached out to Denise and I to find out who their new representative will be.
And we always let them know after the first
We
meeting.
Yeah.
told
Who
them.
is on,
Tim's on it right now.
I told Karen I'd stay if she'd let me. She said, oh yeah, it's fine.
okay,
Oh, yeah, you can stay.
Okay.
yep,
I'm not kicking anybody off anything. I'm
no,
just-
Oh,
no,
she said she's gonna, they send a email every year, she said, or something, asking
Yeah,
who it is.
she does. She sends it to me and then.
Yeah, I got that.
Denise, Gerhard's wondering
List
what
and
time,
thumbs
I'm like,
up.
I don't know what time, but would it
Thumbs
be,
up.
Yep.
Tell him 9:15. We'll put him right after me.
probably around 9:15, okay.
Thank you for taking care of that.
Thank you though for getting that in there.
All right.
No, actually.
Is there anything
that's-
else that you guys have questions on, or just look at all this stuff and
And
figure it out? We can talk about it on the first meeting.
we
Yeah.
wanted to present what their financials
Their
and an update,
budget.
budget, financials and update.
Yes.
yes,
And a fair report would be nice.
Oh, yeah. We just
Well,
went
they're
over
working on a brand new website, which should have a lot of that stuff. It's just in the process right now, so.
Rainbow Riders
That'll be
usually a
nice.
hoot. I mean,
Yep.
it's just-
yeah, some of
It
those,
isn't boring,
no, you get to visit with other commissioners.
yeah.
That's all I have for you today, Barb, and
Okay,
commissioners.
is there anything else to be brought in front of the work session? If not, we will be adjourned. And will there be a work session on the 30th or not until,
Probably not. It's usually just end of the year business.
Just
And it
end of
sounds
the
like
year
we're gonna get
business.
stacked.
yeah, and we're
But-
getting quite a few that I have
Yes.
coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have one other announcement. We did receive another certificate from MCIT. So it was an award, just like we have out
Yeah.
there already, but I didn't bring it up today, but I'll bring it on the 30th.
Oh, okay.
That was nice that we were acknowledged and for our workers' comp type stuff.
Okay.
It's a good thing, yeah. It's an achievement award.
I thought it was something bad.
No, not an award. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
No, it's a good thing.
okay.
So, yeah, I'll bring that on the 30th.
And I thank you guys all for your road input also. I just don't want to get buried again and we don't discuss it again.
What's that?
For the road
Oh.
input too with Lauren. I had called Lauren and told Lauren I
And
was
the road
putting
thing's
this
great, I
on.
just don't want it to up our levy because of it, you know, that's the problem.
But I think there's
If we can
funding
switch.
built in that could afford
Okay,
to do this.
we'll have to see what he can come up with.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
It's not even noon yet, guys.
We did good
Are
today.
you
We're out of here
done?
before
Can I shut
11:30.
down then?
I know. it seemed
And
like
I
it
was
long.
telling